Good morning. My name is Karen Kong, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ottawa, Canada, and welcome to my Crafting to Go series for the month of January. So normally, if you've joined me before, it's a this or that Thursday, and you would choose between two cards to make and vote. But I'm doing something different for the new year, just for January and February, and I'm running a Crafting to Go series of 4 cards where I will demonstrate every one of 4 cards each week. And at the end of the 4 weeks, those of you who have placed qualifying orders with me will receive a free kit to make all those 4 cards on your own. And you can refer back to my videos to help you make them. So that's what we're doing today. We are using the Sweet Bugs set, the bundle, and the paper, and they are so cute. So look at this little card. I worked really hard on it. I had a hard time getting quite the right layout that I wanted. And it took me till late last night to finish it. So I didn't get a chance to post like a little sneak peek. I didn't even get around to making a post. Anyways, let me get my computer set up and running so I can see your comments while we are crafting. And if you're joining live, I would love it if you say hi and join in the chat. Because it is more fun to work together and to answer your questions and not just talk to myself, because I'm really terrible and boring talking to myself. So join in. Just getting my screen running, and let's get this show on the road. All right, my computer's up and running. I am going to switch over to my desktop, so just close your eyes while I set that up and remount my phone. I don't have a fancy setup. Oh, I can't see the button to reverse the... It's telling me I have a slow connection. There we go. Okay. All right, yeah, I couldn't press the button to change the angle of the camera for a second because it was telling me I had a slow connection, so hopefully that's resolved now. Okay. Good morning, Sandra. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, so like I was saying, I was busy yesterday trying to figure out the right layout for this card. I played around with a bunch of things. I played around with the colors, and I was going nowhere. And I also had to take my daughter to her first music concert last night. So we've never attended a music concert at the school because my son was not into that sort of thing. So last night was, a few hours spent in the school listening to the intermediate bands, and that was fun. But yeah, cut into my crafting time. Okay, so this is the card we're making today. I was aiming for a clean and simple design because I saw these 2 little guys. Let me show you the DSP that it came from. Super cute. I love this DSP, and it is just so super cute. So those are the 2 little characters, and I thought that would be perfect for either a friendship or a love theme. So I made my card into an anniversary card. You could use it for Valentine's Day. You could use it for a friend. There's nothing saying that this has to be a couple, but I just thought they were just super cute. And there's like these little dancing bugs. I love all the images on this sheet of paper. The only thing and the other thing I was having trouble with was that the background color is not exactly one of the colors shown on the coordinating color sheet. Sorry, the list on the back of the package. So just so you know, the Stampin' Up! Catalog does not list all the colors in the actual DSP. Okay, they only list a certain selection of them, but the full list is here on the back. It's Basic Black, Blackberry Bliss, Cajun Craze, Cloud Cover, Crushed Curry, Daffodil Delight, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Pecan Pie, Poppy Parade, Pumpkin Pie, and Berry Vanilla. Okay, neither of these green colors exactly match the background of this DSP. I was trying my best, trying to figure out what it's supposed to be. I think maybe it's a lighter shade of Old Olive. I thought maybe it was not Secret Sea, Cloud Cover, and I was like, no, it's not that either. So anyways, I was playing with Pear Pizzazz, which is a retired color, And I think that was the closest I could come. But in the end, I decided to use just plain white for this background and for the background of my card. And we're going to go with that. Good morning, Shalee. Thanks for joining. So that's the card we are making today. I think it's really sweet and it's not hard to make. I'm just going to emboss the background that I created for the card as well as the arched die cut front. Okay, so easy card to make. I am just going to get things sorted out on my desk. Let me show you what we're using today as I clear off my desk. We're using the sweet bugs, of course, and I use the everyday arches to cut my opening in my card. And the little sentiment here is cut from a tag die in, sorry, not that, in the, remember this set? Simply Succulents, okay? Yeah, actually, I think Pear Pizzazz might work for the background for other cards for that, but not, I didn't use it for this card. I didn't end up using it. So, but I think it might match for others. So the little tag die that I used is from this set, okay? I love this one. Haven't used it in a long time, but it's a good one. And my sentiment happy anniversary, which is my only anniversary stamp, and I almost lost it the other night, is from Ringed with Nature. But yeah, you could use it with other love stamps or friendship stamps or hello friend stamps. I think you could use this card for many many occasions. Okay, so let's get started with cutting my card base and the mats. I need my paper cutter. Let's bring my card back so you can see what we're making. Okay, so it's just a regular size card. So I'm going to cut, this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I'm going to cut it in half on the long side, so at 5.5 inches. Okay. That will be my card base, and I'm going to score it now on the long side at 4.25. Okay, let's set that aside. Now, in the background here, I decided that I wanted the embossing on the background as well as on the mat on top. Okay, so what I did was I cut another piece of white to cover this because I can't get the, let me just show you, the embossing folder through the cut and emboss machine with that size of paper. Hang on a second. And of course I can't find my embossing folder because I just put it down and now having a reality crafting moment here. It never stops. Oh, here it is. Hang on a second. Here we go. All right. So here's my embossing folder. I want the embossing, the stripes, like not stripes, they're like lines. They're vertical lines in the paper, and so I put it in the paper this way. So for me to get this vertical line through this way, I wouldn't be able to get it through the cut and emboss machine because the folded side has to go through. So I'm going to cut another sheet that's going to be glued on top, and we'll just emboss that one piece. Okay. Actually, we're going to end up embossing both sheets. So I'm cutting this in half at 4.25 because I need 2 sheets embossed. So one is going to make up my background, one is going to make up my foreground. So we're going to do that. Okay, so just a reminder that when you're embossing, that because I am die cutting and embossing the same sheet of paper, I want to do all the die cutting first, and then embossing will be the last thing. Because if I put through an embossed piece of paper and try to die cut this arch out after I've done the embossing, I will flatten my embossing. I've done that before. Okay, so I recommend that you do all the die cutting first and then the embossing. So let's die cut this this arch first. Okay, I have my arch die here. All right, and let's bring in the cut and emboss machine. And we'll put this right in the center. Okay, so I'm just eyeballing this and centering my arched eye. I'm just going to try and see that it's straight. I think that looks about right. Hard to tell when you're looking at it on an angle underneath the camera. Okay, I need my top plate. And we'll run that through. Good morning, Tara. Thanks for joining. Glad you could make it. Okay, so there's the arch cut out. I'll set that aside and maybe use that another day. All right, so now that I have that cut out, I'm going to go ahead and emboss. Okay, so this is the subtle 3D embossing folder. It's a retired folder. It's like the title says, it's really just a very subtle pattern. It's just a background kind of texture, right? I just didn't want it to be flat, so I added the subtle embossing. Let's run that through. Alright, so that's going to be the foreground piece, and I'm going to take the other piece, which is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and we're going to run that through too to create a background. Alright, now we have 2 embossed pieces, and I have already die cut a bunch of these little flowers. It's from the same set. I'll just die cut one more. There are tiny little flowers in that Sweet Bugs bundle in the die set. So let me just get that out. Okay, so I'm just going to die cut one more small flower. I think I have one stuck in here. Here we go. I'm going to die cut one more. And I have just a scrap here that I've been using for other die cuts, as you can see. So let's just stick that on. But I used 5 of them, so I already die cut most of them, and I'm just going to die cut one more. And I fussy cut the little bugs. So a lot of the images on one of the other sheets of DSP can be die cut using the dies that come in the bundle, but the ones on that sheet that I just showed you today, they are different images. So you cannot use the dies, but they are super cute, and I cannot help myself. I have to fussy cut them. I'm sorry. They are so, so cute. So I'm just going to poke this out. There we go. All right, so I have a bunch of things cut out already. And let's do a little bit of stamping and coloring. So, oh, I did forget one more thing that I have to die cut. I have to die cut my tag. Forgot about that. Reality crafting moment again. Okay, ladies, enough with the comments about the fussy cutting. Fussy cutting is good for you. I'm just trying to find a scrap of white paper to die cut my sentiment tag. Just a moment. here we go. Here's the small piece. All right. It's very calming to fussy cut. I've been converted. I've gone to the dark side. But don't worry, if you're getting the card kit from me, I am doing all the fussy cutting. You will just have to stick them on. So no worries there. All right. All right, so let's do a little bit of stamping. So the color in the wings here is Cajun Craze, okay? That's what I decided to stamp in. I liked having the matching color in the sentiment. And where did I put it? It's right here. Okay, so I just show you guys, in case you've never... if you're a beginner and you've never worked with like long skinny pieces of stamp, because these are wiggly, and the good thing is that if you have like a shaped stamp, you can actually shape it so that it can go on an arch, right? So that's what it can do. But the difficult thing is trying to get it straight, right? If you try to manually apply it here, you may or may not be able to get it nicely straight on your block. So what I do is I actually drop it onto my tabletop, and I let it go into its natural position. But you know, some of them, if you need to check like that they are actually straight, you know, they stick to the table a little bit, and then you can just arrange them straight. Use your block and pick it up, and that is the best way to get your sentiment to lie straight on your block. Okay, so let's put this in front here. Open up our Cajun. Tara says it's stressful to fussy cut, and so does Sandra. Maybe if you do it longer, it'll be calming. Okay, well, we all have differing opinions. It's fine. All right, so here we go. Oh, I think there's not enough ink on my H. Just gonna go back and ink that. Okay. And just press that down. Doesn't that look pretty? All right, let's set that aside. Okay, so now I have the little flowers that were cut out. Let me grab them. And there's barely any yellow in these little guys, okay? So I'm always aiming to match the colors in whatever DSP pieces I'm using. The only yellow is in that flower, okay? And it says in the DSP pack that that's a crushed curry, but I don't actually have a crushed curry blends. I don't even know if there is crushed curry in blends markers, but I figured that it's such a small shade, little dot of yellow. Nobody's gonna be able to tell if it exactly matches. So what I did is I pulled out whatever matched best from my collection, and I have a Mango Melody. I'm using the light Mango Melody to just add a little dot of color in the center of my flowers. Okay, so I'm just going to do that first. So if you watched my videos before, you'll know that I like to get all my pieces ready, and then I start to assemble. So that's what we're doing. I'm getting all my little pieces ready. Okay, so now that I've got my little dot of yellow, I also curved up the petals, okay, so that gives it more dimension. You can leave it flat. It's a different look. It's up to you. So you can see that guy, I've already done it. So all I did was take my bone folder and I just take the tip and lightly press up. Kind of like when you're curling ribbon for wrapping a gift, right? So you don't need to press too hard. I'm just going to curl up the ends. Yeah, there's just some sets, Sandra, that you have to fussy cut because they don't come with dies, and it's just sad when they don't. But there are, you know, some really cute stamp sets out there that don't come with dies, and just gonna have to fussy cut. So I'm just going to do this for all my flowers, but I think these are best left for cards that will be hand delivered, obviously, because I don't know how they would survive going through the sorting machines in the mail sorting facilities. So if you're planning on sending this in the mail, perhaps you know, you might want to just leave these flat. Actually, I should have left them flat so we could see the difference. That would have been fun. Should I have... No, I don't have enough flat ones. Okay, well, we'll do them all a little bit curled, and I'll just make sure to hand deliver these. All right, that's the last one. Okay, so now that that is done, let's put this together. It's a very simple card. So I'm going to fold my card base, and we will use my bone folder to get a nice crisp fold there. All right. And I'm going to glue on this whole piece first as my background. Okay. I'm just going to double check. Yesterday when I cut it, my piece was extended beyond the edge of my card front by just like a couple millimeters, and so I ended up trimming that off first. So let's glue that on. Yes, the Taco Fiesta. Yep. All right, have a great day, Tara. Thanks for joining in, even though it was just a short visit. Yeah, the Taco Fiesta, that was a great stamp set. Just really wish it had dies to go with it. But they weren't terrible to fussy cut. I mean, like, tacos have, you know, they're very easy edges. What else was there in that set? I don't remember it being particularly difficult to fussy cut, but it is time consuming. Like, it takes time to have to fussy cut. So, all right, I'm putting the front mat on here, and I like to place it at kind of like a 45-degree angle to the paper so I can line up the edges and make sure edges are straight. And of course the glue always gives you a couple of extra seconds to kind of shimmy things around if they're not exactly straight when you put them down. All right, so that looks good. Okay, and where did my other sheet go? Now I'm looking for the embossed piece that has the arch cut out of it. This is half the fun of crafting, looking for things on your table. Seriously. Oh, it's right here. I am forgetful, and I put it aside to keep it safe. Don't you love that when you put things away to keep it safe and then you forget where you put them? That's me. All right, so all I did was put dimensionals behind there to give it a little bit of height. We're going to use the edges of the dimensional sheet. So I already did actually use most of the edges on this sheet. So don't ever throw away the, you know, the outside border edges of your dimensionals. You can use them again for long pieces like this that you want to raise up. So I'm just going to pull this off. I'm going to use the corners for the corners. Let's use this for the side. So New online exclusives launched yesterday, and I have not, I've looked through them very quickly, but it was a busy day yesterday and I didn't get a chance to really admire everything that was launched yesterday. So I hope if you will get some time to browse and shop. And let me know if there's anything that really caught your eye. I think there were some cute animals, like the cute cat and dog stamp set. And I think it came with dies, so I am going to be tempted to get that. All right. I'm also going to put some along the edge here because I don't want it to get collapsed when it, like just to give it some support, right? I'm not going to plan to send this through the mail system, but it's still nice to make sure that the sides are supported here. Okay, let's take off all the backings. If you have trouble with taking backings off, I don't know if you've ever tried this, but you can take your pick tool, take the pointy end and just poke and lift. I think some people poke it and it comes right off like that. Yeah. So I don't tend to use that because I don't have any problem with getting the backings off. But for those of you who have, I realize that people who have nails done at the salons, like the edges of your nails become so rounded that they can't get underneath the edges of these backing sheets. So here's a trick for you. Okay. All right, so now I'm just going to place this right on top. Again, I always like to put it on a 45-degree angle before I commit to laying down my sheet. There we go. All right. So this happy anniversary is going to go along the bottom edge. I think I'm going to do that first this time, so that I know approximately where to place my little buddies here. Okay, so I'm going to put dimensionals behind here where it's going to be sitting inside of this die cut area, and then leave the edges open. Okay, I'll put a little dot of glue. All right. Oops. That way you won't get like a funny lifted side edge. If you accidentally put a dimensional there, you'll end up with a bumpy looking surface, right? Because that side is already lifted up by the mat behind it. Okay, so I'm going to put dots of glue to secure them. You don't have to. I think it'd be fine, but it just makes sure that ensures that the edges of the sentiment tag don't raise up or get bent. Okay. All right, so let's do this. So using tweezers, I love my tweezers because they help me place things before I have to commit again, and they get my hands out of the way, right? I don't get my fingers like blocking my own view. See? All right, so my dimensionals are only behind this section, and then I have glue just dots of glue behind the very ends. All right, so these little critters are also raised up by dimensionals. I'm going to use little mini dimensionals for this. Yeah, there were a lot of dimensionals for this card. But I think it looks good. I really like how it turned out at the end. It was I was finally happy with what I was making at the end of the day. Because I'm telling you, I tried several different combinations that I wasn't happy with, and I was getting annoyed that it wasn't turning out as I had wanted to in my head. this up here. Okay. I'm going to take off the backings. All right. Bring the card back in center. And I'm going to place this one a little bit closer to the middle because I think the first time I did this, I thought afterwards that I would have liked it a little bit closer to the middle, so I'm going to move her over. Okay. And this little guy with the flower over here. That doesn't really leave a lot of space between them, so I'm evaluating as I go. This is reality crafting. You know what? I think I like a little bit more space between them, even though it makes them not centered. So I'm hoping that the dimensional behind here hasn't, yeah, I can still pull it off. Good. All right, so let's move her over a little bit so there's a little bit of a gap there. There we go. All right. So there's the little critters. And I put 2 of these flowers up on dimensionals too. I just put one behind the middle. That was it. So let's turn them over and I'll put little mini dimensionals there. Whoops, I ripped off the backing for oh no, I took off the whole thing. Okay. There's 2 of them. Pull off the dimensionals for the backings, and I'm going to flip it over, and we're going to put one here. You notice that I'm not pressing it down because in case I need to move it because if I'm not happy with the location. Okay, so I think that looks probably pretty good. And I'm going to put little dots of glue to adhere the little small flowers. I'm not going to raise those. So you don't want to put a lot of glue because there are holes punched into the middle of your flowers. You don't want the glue oozing through there. So just put a small dot of glue, just enough to adhere it. Okay, and this one I'm going to put on the side here. And one last one. Oops. Here you go. Oops. I just want it to face this way. Slight angle change. All right. And the last thing I added was a little knot of ribbon. Okay, so I found, I was looking through my stash and I found the gingham ribbon, which is in, I think it's daffodil. No, this is bumblebee. This is a retired color, but it's also kind of like a deep-ish yellow. The Mango Melody is also kind of a deeper yellow. And I found that it actually complements the little hash marks or whatever these are, the little lines in their antennae? No, I don't know what those are. In any case, I thought it was a good complement. I really liked how that looks. So I didn't want a big bow because it's, I just didn't think it looked right for this design. So I just tied a little knot. So it's just a tiny little knot. And I'll just use it to accent the corner there. Okay. So the end of this frayed a little bit. I'm going to trim it off. So it's nice and clean. And we'll do this, just trim this right off of the spool. And let's get a glue dot to attach that. So I'm just going to stick it right on the glue dot here. I'm just going to pull this knot a little bit tighter and flatten it. And we'll stick it right onto the glue dot and pull it off. Pull off the glue dot and my ribbon. And I'm just going to put it right here. And there you go. So that is today's card. Very simple and easy. I just really like the clean look of this. I knew when I saw these two little critters that I wanted them on a card by themselves because I think they're super sweet, and wanted to keep it that way. So super sweet card for anniversary, for a friend, for Valentine's Day. Yeah. Oh, and Sandra, yes, I agree. I don't know why the full list of the colors aren't in the catalog. So be aware that there are other colors in the DSP that match with other coordinating colors in their set. But for the card today, very few colors to add. It's an easy card to make, and I hope you have some fun with the images in this DSP because they are so cute. And I've already cut out a whole bunch of other ones for using, and we'll see what I come up with next. And next week is the last one of the Sweet Bug series, and then we'll be moving on to On Display. So have a good one. Hope you're inspired to create with yours, and I'll see you next week. Have a great day. Bye.